Surprise, everyone. I bet you weren't expecting to hear me. Some of you have written into me going, is Life on Side B still coming back? And this is not the beginning of the final season, but I can assure you, and I'll have more to say later, we are coming back. I am so sorry for the delay, and I'll explain a little bit more about that. But there's a special reason why I am here today. I am joined by the lovely friend of Life on Side B, Eve Tushnet. Hello, Eve.
Hi.
This is, I always love any chance I get to talk with you. This is great.
Michael.
You have such a beautiful endeavor that you're doing now, and we're here to share it with everyone. Because it's, Eve, I'm going to explain. Many of you know Eve. If you don't know Eve, you should. You need to read her books that I recommend to everyone. Gay and Catholic and Tenderness. But you're starting an organization, correct?
Yes. I am the co-founder of a nonprofit, Building Catholic Futures, which equips Catholic institutions to evangelize and catechize LGBT and same-sex attracted people. And that basically means evangelizing in the sense of really bringing people to an encounter with Jesus Christ that they can acknowledge and recognize, and catechize meaning forming people in a holistic way that genuinely allows them to experience the joy of the gospel and a fulfilling, flourishing life in Christ.
Love it. Love holistic work, everything about it. And this is launched this Monday, correct?
Yes, this
Amazing.
is, we had done, you could say, a soft launch or presentation of parts of our material earlier in the year. And this is our moment where we're like, no, it's ready. We're coming forward with it.
Yeah.
You can find us now online at
cool.
buildingcatholic.org.
Okay. So tell me a little bit of the story. What led you to create this?
Yeah. So it started with a retreat. There was a retreat with 10 people who are somewhere in the wild side B world, gay, bi, etc. That was led by Keith Wildenberg, who's a cradle Catholic here in the Bay Area, who I met in 2020. I met virtually because it was 2020, but who had been evangelizing in gay communities for quite some time and had really done some really beautiful and inspiring thinking on the ways in which gay experience can be a doorway into the gospel rather than an obstacle.
Love it.
So he kind of facilitated this weekend retreat where 10 of us got together and talked through, okay, we're now practicing Catholics. We're reasonably self-accepting in terms of our sexual orientation. How did that happen? What made that possible? What are the points of intervention where something went well that could have gone poorly, or when something went poorly and we had to find ways to kind of recover and repair? And one of the things that we realized is that if you're you're a gay kid, you're trying to, or a new convert to the faith, and you're trying to figure out what does all this mean? How do I understand how my life and my questions relate to the gospel? You can only know what the people around you tell you, what the people around you know. And for the most part, the people around gay, questioning, same-sex attracted Christians really don't know what it would look like or mean for us to flourish in the quote-unquote traditional sexual ethic. They don't have that knowledge, and so of course they can't give it to us. It's not their fault that they didn't give it to us.
Yeah.
Because they didn't have it themselves.
Yeah, exactly.
And so this led to our identifying kind of what are the points at which someone encounters someone who speaks for the church in some way, and how can we make those encounters a lot more fruitful and not just getting past the misunderstandings and falsehoods and silences of the past, but actually saying something fruitful and good that will make people feel like it's obvious that the church is a place where they could flourish and where they don't have to hide.
So good.
So that has led to how we work. There are 3 tracks in which we provide resources. There's the futures track, which is kind of the first question that we asked, which was, what would need to happen so that by the time a young person begins asking questions about their own sexuality, they are already totally confident that you can be gay and accept yourself and be a practicing Catholic. What if instead of like repairing harm and religious trauma and damage, you just weren't damaged in the first place?
Absolutely. Please. Can that be our future?
Exactly. Right. I mean, like every gay person who hears this is like, right.
Yes.
How do you do that? And so Futures is basically resources for people who work with the next generation. So Catholic school personnel, and we talk to a lot of them to really understand what are their challenges, what would make it possible for them to share messages of hope. Parents, what are their questions? What do they need to understand as a kind of foundation? Who are the other people in Futures? Youth ministers, catechists. And we try to really be creative and give a range of kinds of materials for different settings. So like we have a poster that's different vocations. And it's getting people to think about what my life path could look like in a way that includes a life-shaping friendship and includes an intentional community. And isn't just, well, you can be a priest or you can get married, which, you know, is one option more than some people feel like they have growing up, but still not really enough. So that's the first track.
So that's Futures.
That's
Futures track.
Yeah. Journeys track is essentially presenting the same ideas about flourishing in a way that's appropriate for people who are working mostly with adults. So priests, seminarians, people who are encountering people in the confessional or, you know, and in their parish. This is where we work with parish ministries. And again, sort of one of the main things that we're really trying to do is tell stories of flourishing. What does it look like and what does it mean for someone to flourish in the church? And one of the, I think, really exceptional things that we've done in the Journeys track is a workshop that we presented in St. Louis as part of this soft launch of some of our stuff that had, it mapped out where... I guess the thing that was it did a lot of things. The thing that was most striking to me, that I felt like I had never really seen before, was mapping out a journey to integrity for a gay Christian. Integrating faith.
Yes. Okay, keep going. This is like my jam. Everyone who listens to this podcast knows that you're speaking my language. Keep going.
And we were trying to take from as many different sources that have resonated with us as possible. Some who would self-identify as very conservative, some who are like, you know, not Christian at all and very, very progressive and have no particular tie to that world. And trying to see like, what are the things that they recognize in people's lives and stories that kind of like recur. And when you say them to people, they'll resonate. And what we discovered, first of all, was that there were kind of strong patterns in people's journeys that you actually could talk about, like stages that emerged. And there were characteristic mistakes that it was really easy to make at each stage. So like my favorite, for maybe obvious reasons, is the chaos stage, which is like long, but people do move through it. And it's a stage where the biggest thing that really defines your experience at that point is the competing voices around you. You are yourself like discovering that there are more voices than the ones that you first encountered that first taught you what it meant to be gay and to be Christian. But you haven't yet like really said, like, even if it's only a part of you still wonders if the other voices are right. And you're in this kind of like labyrinth.
Yeah.
And you know, make a lot of wrong turns in that labyrinth. And the big mistake that a lot of people make who are trying to be wise shepherds to you at this point is to not kind of, how to put this? What I say in my notes for this talk is you have to be able to hang. Like,
yes.
You have to just accept that this is a normal part of people's journey.
Yeah.
Everybody goes through the chaos stage, literally everyone. And they make bad decisions. Some gay psychologists will talk about this in terms of a second adolescence or a delayed adolescence, because people did not get to have the kind of standard high school experience at the time that it would have been developmentally common.
Yeah.
because they were hiding and scared.
Yeah.
But even if you don't, even if you're like, no, that wasn't really my story, there's still so much so many mixed messages, so many competing messages.
Yeah. I feel like you could also like talk about this in terms of the dark night of the soul, even like aspect, like this kind of disorienting aspect that then you have to walk through. Sorry, continue.
Yeah, no, I think that's right. I think this happens for everyone in their life of faith.
Mm-hmm.
And, the thing that's with LGBT people, it's more explicit and you can sort of pinpoint, this is the thing that I'm wrestling with now.
There it
but
is.
It's not actually like unique to us, this experience.
Mm-hmm.
But so that's Journeys. It's basically guidance for people who are in accompaniment with LGBT and same-sex attracted adults.
Yeah.
And then the third track is Witnesses, which one way you can think about it is becoming the gay role models that we wish that we had had. And so that's basically for gay people who want a deeper relationship with Jesus. And we do retreats where we help you tell your testimony or map your life onto the life of Jesus and sort of find common themes that are, again, picking up on especially some of the work that Keith, my co-founder, has done in really discerning the ways that gay lives, offer, everybody's life is unique and different, but there are also sort of aspects of it that do tend to resonate with aspects of the gospel.
100%. So it's kind of like you have, gonna like talk this out to see if I understand it well. So with these 3 tracks, you have, the first one is, what's the first one again? First one is Futures. So you have Futures where you're really engaging with people who are like, you are walking with people who are going to be walking with the next generation of LGBT people. Yeah. Like, people in schools, Catholic schools, these kind of areas, working with the kids before they even come out. That way, then we can create that change. Right. Yeah.
Because
and then you have Journeys. Go ahead.
Done before the kid comes out.
Yeah. Yeah. So we want to get to the people who are already have access to, like who are walking alongside those kids. So that they are equipped to kind of help them avoid some of the things we've all gone through. Yeah. And then you have Journeys, which is working with the people that are going to be walking alongside LGBT people. Mm-hmm. And I'm guessing like LGBT people across, different backgrounds and everything and how to do that. But we're working more. Yeah. So different relationships in the church, but helping the people who are going to be caring for them spiritually. And I love the integrated part. But then like the Witnesses side is where you guys are actually walking alongside with, LGBT Christians themselves.
Yes. So it's so interesting. That's right. And I will say, it's walking with people in their capacity as potential leaders and role models in their community.
Absolutely. 100%. Helping them become leaders.
Yeah. The image that I use a lot is like you picture almost like a board game, and the little rainbow counter on the board game moves through all these different lands and encounters different obstacles and creatures. Yeah. And, one of those potential helping creatures is the gay adult who shares your faith, who you can say like, well, they did it. Maybe there is some kind of future for me.
It's so true.
And so that's really the aspect that we're most focusing on with direct work with LGBT people. Yeah. Because we're not like, there are good support groups. Mm-hmm. But in terms of helping you live out your role as a potential witness to the next generation, the people around 100%. That there's not as much.
Yeah, because we need those role models. We need to be able to see that it's possible to be that. And so being able to have, I love that you guys are like walking alongside people that are like, I feel called to be that kind of role model. I feel called to have that place in the church that I didn't get to see someone in before. Yeah. But then we do it so often. I mean, like you and I both know, like when you step into talking about this topic, you don't normally get people who are guiding you along it. And so it's really cool that you guys are getting to kind of like engage with them and like, help, looking at what does that look like to be a role model.
At this retreat that we started with, there was, I think one person, I think Keith may have already known personally someone else who was gay and a practicing Catholic. And one other person there had heard a rumor that somewhere in his neighborhood such a person existed. And the rest of us were like, no, we had nothing. I read a biography of Oscar Wilde. That was as close as I came.
Wow. Crazy. So what What would you say, obviously this is a brand new thing. You're just planting the seeds currently in the ground. What do you hope and envision for this to become, years down the road? Or to do, or to impact?
Yeah. I mean, when I was thinking about if I were to have exactly what I want, if I were to say the vision that would be like, at this point, we have succeeded and can shut down.
Yes.
It would be that every Catholic in any kind of leadership, including parents, knows somebody who is, at least knows of and admires somebody who is openly gay and a practicing Catholic.
I love it. That's so good.
As opposed to now where most people can't name anybody.
Yeah. 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 Which is so crazy when you have the Catholic Church of the entire world. But then you're like, gay people are here. They're here. They're engaging, and so being able to create that space is so important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And one of the things that's been really fascinating for us is finding those stories in the past. One of the projects that we do for the futures side of things, although these people come up elsewhere too, is worksheets that are biographical worksheets telling the stories of real people, historical figures who we know experienced same-sex desire and found peace in Catholic faith. And that was basically to say, you shouldn't have to scour the library, or I don't know what people do nowadays, something terrible, probably YouTube. To try to find
awful
one example. It would be nice if, in the same way that we expect now, I think, schools to tell us about saints of color and women who are scientists. Did you know that women can do science too? This is another area where we should kind of expect the schools to be letting kids know that this is possible for them.
Amazing. Yeah. And I really hope for that future because it's absolutely needed. It's needed now in this moment. Yeah. I know you mentioned the website. How else can people follow you, connect, learn about going through one of the tracks, that kind of thing?
Yeah. For anything with Building Catholic Futures, the website is the best. It's buildingcatholic.org. You'll see a little keep in touch thing that'll give you updates on our work if you want to bring us to where you are or engage with some of the resources. You'll see an option to do that too. And I think the next step for that will usually, it depends on what you want. I should just say, go and you'll see, and you'll get in touch with us, and we'll get back to you and start the process. But anything to do with Building Catholic Futures or its resources, there should be a pretty clear path to that on the website.
So good.
Yeah.
Cool. My other question, kind of unrelated, is when are we getting our next book from you?
So right now, the next book would be a novel.
Love it. Yes.
It's going to take forever partly because of this. So I have no idea. It's drafted.
Okay.
It's like
but it's
100 pages too long. So
we never really get to talk about your novels, actually, but I know multiple people who've read them and love them. So if you guys didn't know that Eve Tushnet writes novels, you should go on Amazon and look them up. So
thank you.
Yeah, they're great. I'm you and Greg Coles are the ones who have written kind of these more novels and stories. And I'm we need this. It doesn't always have to be, anyway. So that's a whole other topic we could talk.
Also.
Who?
Gabriel Blanchard.
Gabriel Blanchard. Yes, that's correct. Yes.
A novel, but I can't tell you. I feel bad telling you about his novel because I really liked it, and then it ended on a cliffhanger.
Oh, dang. Okay.
Right.
See, yeah. Now that I'm getting into my place of reading more fiction again. Now that I'm out of school, kind of thing, and I'm looking forward to it. Amazing. Thank you so much. Anything else that we need to know? Anything else you feel that should be shared?
That's the basics.
Beautiful.
If you have anything that isn't Building Catholic Futures, you can just email me personally. But for anything BCF,
go to the website.
We're going to be on it.
Yeah, it's going to be great. I can't wait to see, down the road what this all becomes and everything. So I appreciate you sharing it with me. and with us. Yeah. I'll have that website.
I love you.
I love you, too. I'm going to have the website in the show notes. And all of that information will be there if any of you are interested. I know we have multiple listeners who are Catholic. So please, y'all, reach out, help, connect with this. On other notes, many of you have written in going, is Life on Side B just like not doing the final season? And the answer is we are doing the final season. It is just very delayed because it took me a lot longer than planned to finish my doctorate, but it is done. It is into the seminary. There's still edits being made and all of that, but as of this month, my attention is turning to Life on Side B, the final season. I think we're calling it Last Call. I don't have a date yet when these episodes are going to be coming out. But they will be coming out soon. I'm also going to throw out patrons. Listen, patrons, I love you all. You help us keep this going. And I know that there really hasn't been a lot of content on our Patreon page, and that is totally on me because I've had a lot of this. But there is actually going to be coming a very special treat for our Patreon page soon, and I'll be sending that over there. So if you're a patron, be on the lookout for that. I found a way that I really want to say thank you to you all for the ways that you have helped support to keep this podcast going. And we are excited for the future, building Catholic futures and new season of Life on Side B. It's all coming along. Yeah. Thank you so much, Eve. I really appreciate you joining for this time.
No, thank you. It's always a pleasure.
Absolutely. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Be on the lookout. I will give you more information as I can. We'll talk to you soon. Bye, everyone.